Good morning, everyone. You probably already know about this. The Mississippi High School Athletics Association announced last month that high school varsity football game kickoff times will be pushed back to 7:30 through the end of September. Heat, of course, was a consideration in making that decision. So, what should you do to help protect your young athletes during these hot months? Dr. Keith Watson is here to talk about it. Dr. Watson, great to have you back.
Thanks for having me as always.
Fall is a football sport, but we don't have a whole lot of fall here. It just goes from hot to kind of cold over several months.
Yeah. Fall doesn't become fall in Mississippi till about November.
It doesn't. I started out talking about high school, but you know, we also have Pee Wee here. We have junior high. So all these kids are out playing in the heat.
Yes, and it's hot.
It is hot. So let's talk about some things that parents can do. I mean, coaches and the coaching staff, they're going to do everything they can to keep them safe. But there may be some things parents can do at home pregame to make sure their child is ready and safe out there. Let's talk about pregame meals. Should you be eating a lot? What should you be eating before you go out to play?
Yeah, you do have to eat. You do have to eat. I mean, you know, you're going to be, especially, and if we're talking specifically football, you know, you're in a sporting contest that's going to last couple of hours at least. So, you know, you need something that's not so heavy that you don't tolerate it, but you need something that gives you energy for the sport. So, you know, the meals are always preached to us even back when I played, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, that you ate carbs for the quick energy.
Yeah.
And you loaded up on good proteins to have that sustained energy. So it was, you know, our coach preached it, pasta and beans.
That's funny, Coach. So when I was in high school, the football team ate at the Western Sizzling at that time, and they had like steak and potatoes.
Steak and potatoes, yeah. Right.
All right, so that makes sense.
You get your carbs and you get your protein.
All right, so carbs and protein before the game. What about getting yourself prehydrated for the couple of hours you're going to be out there?
Yeah, you know, we always talk about drinking during. And drinking after to replenish. You've got to drink before. You can't go out onto the field already with an empty tank and be dry. Okay. Because you're going to dehydrate during these games. There's no way to avoid it. You can't run that much in that kind of heat for that period of time and not lose water.
So what should they be drinking? Should it be water? Should it be Gatorade? Should it be, somebody in the newsroom before we came out here and goes, they should drink pickle juice.
Yeah, no.
No. Okay.
No, there's too much sodium in there. So beforehand, you want water.
Okay.
You're not deficient in electrolytes before the game, hopefully.
Okay.
So you want water. You want good hydration status with water going in. During the game, after the game, when you're trying to replenish those electrolytes, things like Gatorade and Powerade would be fine.
All right.
But it's never wrong to drink water.
Okay.
Ever.
All right. That's always in play. Drink some water. All right. There are times when we've seen athletes on the sidelines, they're cramping. And what's causing the cramping and what helps to relieve that or prevent it?
Well, cramping comes from a couple of things. One, dehydration, and one, your muscles finally just saying, I've had enough. Okay. So stretching prior to games so that your muscles are loose always help, and staying hydrated. Okay. When your muscles get taxed and dehydrated, you start to cramp. So lots and lots of fluids and stretching so that you're loose before the game. You can't, you know, sit down on the bench for an hour and then jump up and run out on the field and start running around. You've got to be up and loose and stretched.
Other thing, football guys can be a little macho. They feel themselves not feeling quite well. They may not want to admit it, but listen to your body when you're out there.
Absolutely. If you're starting to get tight, you got to tell your trainer, your coach, so they can hydrate you to try to prevent these kind of cramps. If you're feeling dizzy or faint, in other words, heat exhaustion, you need to tell someone before you pass out and get an ambulance ride to the hospital.
Absolutely. It's going to be hot. Steak, potatoes, water. That's your
Steak,
fuel for football.
Water. Absolutely.
I love it. All right. Thanks so much, Dr.
You're
Watson.
welcome.
Coming up, paper or plastic? Toy makers have the answer just ahead on Mid-Morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Some popular toy makers are looking to cut back on plastic waste. Anthony Pura has more on green initiatives hitting the toy industry.
Toy makers are thinking outside the box by reimagining what their products are put in.
One of the things that we have done is change the container.
Isaac Larian is CEO of MGA Entertainment, the company behind the toy brand LOL Surprise. By this fall, 65% of the dolls will be in paper-based compostable packaging instead of plastic. The switch from plastic to paper packaging just for this toy brand eliminates 3 metric tons of plastic.
It's all paper.
Larian says they've applied the same principles to this Little Tikes race car set. The cardboard box folds out to 50 feet and becomes part of the racetrack.
When kids or parents are finished with it, they just put it back in and it becomes a storage.
MGA is not alone. Mattel, makers of Matchbox and Barbie, is planning to reduce plastic packaging. And so is Hasbro, which has new boxes for some toys, including certain Marvel products.
This is a trend we're seeing in the toy industry and overall, and it's something that consumers really respond to.
Katie Thomas is with the Kearney Consumer Institute.
Why do you think consumers care about the packaging?
Well, the primary reason is that recycling tends to be what they still deem as the most sustainable action they can take.
For MGA Entertainment, the packaging switch is more expensive, but they are absorbing the cost. The toys are still plastic, but they're working on that.
We haven't figured out how to do the doll in paper, but we have work in progress that will have 100% biodegradable plastic coming down in a few years.
Larian plans to have eco-friendly materials in all products and packaging in the coming years. Anthony Pura, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Still to come on Mid-Morning, what lies beneath a historic find in the ocean. That's just ahead. We're back, everyone. The airborne epic Top Gun Maverick is still going strong, and starting this week, you can download it and watch it at home. For Victory Lap, one of the film's actors turned pilots invited Jamie Yuccas down to San Diego to fly the skies that weren't always so friendly.
I'm never scared.
Actor Jay Ellis is no stranger to an airfield like this. Thanks to his role in a certain summer blockbuster, he knows his way around an airplane, but usually he's going by another name.
You got the call name Payback.
I did.
It was given to you.
It was. And was curious, if you were to choose one, would it be the North Star or would it be a gopher?
It'd probably be the North Star. I'm from Minnesota.
Oh.
And gophers just sound kind of silly.
Well, then there you go. That's how it actually works.
I am a U of M gopher, so I get it.
The one that you like the least is the one you get. So you're a gopher.
So,
there we go.
How did I end up here? Wearing a flight suit with a rodent's name on it? Somehow, it is all Tom Cruise's fault.
What the hell? Good morning, aviators.
This past weekend, his Top Gun Maverick became the 6th highest grossing film in domestic box office history, knocking off the likes of Titanic and Avengers: Infinity War. And starting tomorrow, it's available for digital download at home.
There's no going back, right?
To celebrate, the film's co-star invited me along to a friendly competition, a little something aviators call a dogfight.
Any message for Gopher?
Yeah.
It's payback time.
I've never been this close to another airplane.
How do you feel about these mountain ranges?
I love them. They're beautiful. I think we should get a little closer to them.
I'm good.
I remember the first time Tom told us that we were going to get in a jet, and he turns and looks at us and tells us, like, you're going to be in there every single day. You're going to fly hours a day, and you're going to be a pilot. And everyone's like, man, this dude is crazy. I am not doing that. And then you get up there and you fall in love with it. You truly fall in love with it.
Are you ready for some dogfighting, Jamie? I guess. Payback versus Gopher. Who's going to win?
You're looking scared up there.
Come and get me.
Don't worry, I'm coming. I see you over there.
I don't see you. That's his trouble.
Fights on, left to left. Baby, I'm coming for you. 3, 2, 1, you got the controls. What I'm gonna want you to do is roll it upside down to the left.
Upside down and pull back?
Like that, yep.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this feels so unnatural.
There you go. Pull the trigger, pull the trigger. Oh, payback with the first kill.
I'll give you that one.
All right, you ready for round 2? Yep. Well, let's go get him.
Oh, which way?
We're going to the right.
Okay.
Come here, Jamie. There they are.
Come here, Jamie.
Oh, can I get him?
There he is. She's getting on her tail. Bank right.
this is basically how we started out. We learned like the basics of flight, and then once we got comfortable with that, we did a lot of bombing runs, a lot of low-level runs, and then pulling G's to get out of there.
When did you stop being nervous?
About 30 seconds ago.
All right, it's time for the tiebreaker. Who wants it most?
I think I can only do one more.
That's all I need.
This one is going to be these two cats going at it head to head.
You guys are all crazy.
3, 2, 1. You got controls. Go get her. Come here. Uh-oh.
Where is he?
Uh-oh, he's on her 6. Ace for a break right. Missile launch. Right 3 o'clock. Jeff Blair. Blair. All right, now pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. We've been ahead.
Oh, God.
I told you I only needed one more.
As we came in for a landing, it was time for one final tradition that Jay pulled straight out of the film.
Whoever gets shot down first has to do 200 push-ups.
Guys, that's a lot of push-ups. Looks like we got to do 200 push-ups now.
I'm all about following tradition, but Tom's right. That is a lot of push-ups.
Jamie Yuka, CBS News.
64.
Wow, that kind of made me scared a little bit looking at that. All right, deep in the ocean, a history-making discovery. Here's Dana Jacobson with that.
You're looking at what remains of a 1,000-ton, 316-foot U.S. Navy warship that hasn't been seen in over a century, discovered just last week by a team of British divers. The USS Jacob Jones, commissioned in 1916, was on the North Atlantic during the First World War when it became the first U.S. destroyer sunk by enemy fire.
The find of the Jacob Jones is a big deal to the U.S. Navy.
Retired Admiral Sam Cox is director of the Naval History and Heritage Command in Washington, D.C.
The USS Jacob Jones was called a destroyer. That's the type of ship. Smaller than a battleship, smaller than a cruiser, very fast, very versatile in its mission. During that time of the war, primary purpose was to escort convoys and defend the troop ships against German submarine attack.
But it was just that which the Jones fell victim to. On December 6, 1917, after escorting a convoy to France, the ship was heading back to its home port in Ireland when it was attacked by a German U-boat.
The U-53 was under the command of Captain Lieutenant Hans Rose, who was a very capable German submarine skipper, had sunk 79 ships during the war, fired one torpedo at the Jacob Jones, which was very accurate. Lookout sighted the torpedo. The ship almost was able to avoid it, but not quite.
The torpedo hit the Jones near the stern, causing massive damage and uncontrollable flooding. One of the sailors capturing the moment when the ship went down. Out of the 110-man crew, only 46 were believed to have survived, including the rescued sailors in this photo. The ship settled in its final resting place, where it lay undiscovered for 105 years. That is, until a group of expert British divers who spend their time searching for shipwrecks and call themselves Dark Star set out to find the lost vessel. Just last week, after an 18-month search, they did, ironically, with the help of the German U-boat commander's detailed logbook. The wreck of the Jacob Jones is located about 60 miles off the southwestern tip of England, near the English Channel, lying beneath 400 feet of water. And this is where it will remain, undisturbed, in accordance with international salvage law and a widespread protocol for military wrecks.
When a U.S. Navy shipwreck is found, our general policy is to leave it undisturbed. It's a war grave. It's a hallowed site.
When they say fresh, they really mean it. From garden to table, when Mid-Morning returns. All right, welcome back. If the produce at one Southern California restaurant looks especially vibrant, it's because it sure didn't have to travel far. Jamie Wax visits a venue that gives farm to table a whole new meaning.
This is called a buzz bun.
Okay.
So you can eat the whole thing, but it's going to overpower you. Just take a little piece off of it.
Chef Michael Reed's outdoor garden is full of unique ingredients.
Put it on your tongue. You're going to start getting a tingling sensation like Pop Rocks.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy.
The 39-year-old chef calls this outdoor oasis his playground, and delights in using its fresh results for his dishes.
And it makes you salivate, it makes you hungry, it makes you curious. Like, what did I just do?
It's still happening here.
Yes.
This is one of the craziest things I've ever experienced.
The bright greenhouse setting and courtyard of his Poppy and Seed in Anaheim, California is surrounded by lush herbs, vegetables, and edible flowers.
What would you describe your cooking as?
It's basically very seasonal. I've always loved Italian, I love French, I love Asian food, so we basically get to hide and sneak certain ingredients in to still be a California-based restaurant, but build a lot of umami flavors by using fermentation and different ingredients that you normally wouldn't find in most dishes to boost that flavor. I like to say we give you something that's familiar with a twist.
A twist you can taste in dishes like seared scallops with pork belly, maitake mushrooms, a celery root puree, and beluga lentils.
Beluga lentils are a fancy lentil. They have a little bit more density and texture to it. Once you put it all together, it's a perfect little bite.
The textures alone are amazing, but then the flavors all start to meld in your mouth.
Shrimp and lobster risotto.
The colors again and the freshness of all the herbs on this are absolutely phenomenal.
Finished with mascarpone and Parmesan cheeses.
It's one of my favorites to make here.
Also on the table, crispy mushrooms with an egg yolk topped with Parmesan cheese.
All right.
I'm gonna break this perfect egg yolk. Ooh, look at that. Oh, is that perfect?
Hand-rolled 3-cheese tortellini and brodo. Avocado toast with pickled chilies and shallots on sourdough bread. Ricotta-filled squash blossoms with herbs and truffle honey.
Crispy, cheesy.
And sweet.
Yep, that's the truffle honey on top.
Raised in Oxnard, California, Reed credits his parents for his green thumb.
I had garden growing up, we had blackberries. My mom would make ice cream. We had peach trees, avocado trees, artichokes. My mom was always growing stuff. Part of the punishment was like, if you didn't do your chores or you got in trouble, go to the garden and pick weeds, and you're just like, oh, come on. Now I really appreciate what they taught me and, understanding that it takes a lot to grow a lot of food.
But like many chefs, cooking for a living wasn't his first dream.
I was on a track and field scholarship. I was a long distance runner. So I broke my foot, had a bone chip. Coach said I would never run as fast as I would my freshman year. I was like, you're right, the Olympics are gone, kind of shattered that dream. And so when I switched motivation from being a business accountant in school to being like, I kind of had the plan B already lined up, being like, you don't really like school, culinary school seems more your speed. I was always cooking for the track team.
Reed would eventually land at the prestigious Culinary Institute of America.
Went there, did the 2-year program, worked at the Modern in New York, fell in love with fine dining in there. So then it snowed, and I promptly moved back to California.
That's all it took.
It took 2 years of driving upstate and then back to Manhattan, and then one big storm. I was like, before it snows again, I have to leave.
Grilled meatballs, no bread, scallops, mushroom, butter lettuce.
After skipping a couple of steps, he became an executive chef at 26 years old.
You got that butter lettuce ready? Right here on my hand.
By 28, he was burnt out and had to discover what not only fed his customers, but also fed his soul.
I like him. I like him a lot. I like him a little bit.
I love her, though. She may like me, but I love her.
Okay, my friends. So, you guys ordered some good things.
He and his wife, Queenie, opened a popular LA brunch spot called Poppy and Rose, with him as the chef and her on the business side.
I respect him when I go into the kitchen. He's chef. If I tell him there's something that we can't buy because we need to do X, Y, and Z, or we're falling short here, or we've made really good revenue here, I need for you to look at that. He trusts me to say, okay, I understand, and we work together on building this dream that we're building together.
So is this meringue? So
that
it's
is
dehydrated meringue.
The power couple are continuing to grow their dream together with this space that blossomed during a pandemic.
I will say it was a traumatic experience, because this is our livelihood, and we also hold other people's livelihoods in our hand during the pandemic. But I mean, where there's a lot of turmoil, there's also a lot of opportunity.
An opportunity they use to give back to the community.
We've seen homeless people walk past here and pick off our garden, and we have no problems with it. Like, please, eat from our garden. It's here. Like, if you find something that's a tree, are you hungry? Pick something from it. That's why it's here. It's here for us to give back, and it's here for him to create creativity.
I mean, with all your extensive knowledge, has it taught you something to grow your own food here?
I'm still learning. Like, One of my pillars is you got to constantly learn. You know, it's all about really trying to stay true to what it is instead of just mass-produced food. I want something unique on the plate. The only way to do it is to sometimes grow it yourself.
And like the food they've grown themselves, Michael and Queenie Reed seem to always be reaching toward the sun.
I think it's essential for restaurants and restaurant owners to stay positive and give a safe, warm, inviting place for people to come break bread, have memorable experiences, share stories, and commune together.
So you're doing your part.
We're doing our small part. There's always more that we're looking to do, but you know, give us time. Give us time, and as we keep growing, we'll keep looking at the bigger solutions of how we can get more engaged in our community.
We'll be right back to wrap things up. Stay with us. All right, be sure you stay connected with us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll see you back here tomorrow.